Hello, 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 and welcome to what can only be described as the premiere episode of Creepcast. In today's episode, a creepy story. Before we get into the scares, I would like to send a big shout out to the Waterberg Predator Park in Limpopo, South Africa, for sponsoring this podcast. If you find yourself lucky enough to be in the area, please pay them a visit. They offer fantastic tours with a range of beautiful predators, luxurious accommodation, and a stay in the bush you're not soon to forget. I'll add a link to their Facebook page in the description below. With that being said, on to the scares. This episode's story is called I Need Some Bread and Cereal Too. It's a creepypasta story, of course, and is extremely short but very effective. So without further ado, here goes. You get a phone call from your mother. Since her car has been in the shop, she asks you to go to the grocery store and pick up a few odds and ends for her. Bread, milk, cereal, and chicken breasts. After writing down a small list, you reluctantly get in the car and pick up the items at the store. The lady cashier makes an odd remark to you though. You know, we're in no danger of a milk shortage, she says. Upon arriving at your mom's house, you knock several times, but no answer. You decide to try the door. It opens. You place the grocery bag on the counter. Strange. There seems to be 6 other grocery bags, each with identical contents. In a couple, the chicken and the milk has gone bad. Mom, you call out, but no answer. You make your way through the kitchen and into the living room. Sitting on the couch with her head cut off and neatly resting on her lap is your mother. Naturally, you call the police, who come over to investigate. They mention that she has been dead for nearly a week. Furthermore, the police psychiatrist is at the scene and talks to you after you give your initial statement. Sitting on the front steps, you overhear the psychiatrist talking with a crime scene investigator. It's not uncommon for people suffering from schizophrenia to get locked into a series of repetitive behaviors, he says. You think to yourself, they can't be talking about me. Schizophrenia? Nah. Repetitive behavior? Do they think I did this? Suddenly, your cell phone goes off. Hello? Hi, hon. It's me. Could you stop at the store and pick up some chicken and milk? Oh, and I need some bread and cereal too. No problem, Mom. I'll be right over. This story was rated 8.92 out of 10, and its effectiveness, in my opinion, shows. I think the reason why this story is so effective is because you can theorize it in so many ways. You can perhaps see it from a serial killer perspective. There might be a murder, maybe a paranormal occurrence. But let's discuss very briefly the theme at hand, which is schizophrenia. I personally do not know anyone who suffers from this mental illness, but I can possibly think that it's no joke. It is a reality in our society, among many other mental illnesses that people suffer with and have to confront on a daily basis. If you go back to 2005, there was a movie called Hide and Seek with Robert De Niro and Dakota Fanning. This story took me back to the narrative of that movie. I'm not going to spoil anything, and if you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor and have a look. It is remarkable what someone who suffered some sort of trauma or goes through some mental illness has to confront on a daily basis, sometimes without even knowing it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this issue, and if you do have schizophrenia or if you know someone, please drop me a message, comment below. I would really, really, really like to know your story and how stories and movies with this kind of theme affect you personally, and how do you cope with it? Guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you'd like to get in contact with us, our social media links are below. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we look forward to bringing you more scares. Thank you for listening to Creepcast.